shit. This is fucking areas.
She might not overly be a goer here, boys.
That's how you should open a four-wheel drive film. Cinematic, emotive, possibly even poignant. However, if we wanted to be like every other wanker on YouTube, we'd have to do something a bit more like this. We're in the hottest place in Australia at the hottest time of year. We don't have a lot of supplies and we're heading into the monsoonal wet season. Why, you might ask? Well, this is where I'm from and it's my favourite time to be here. It's when the harsh, unforgiving landscape is at its most perilous, right up until the rains transform it from rugged but beautiful to nothing short of majestic. There's no old farts in caravans or bloggers with selfie sticks out here. It's remote. The rivers can wash cars away in a matter of seconds, but that's why we don't have to share it with anyone. And I brought my good friends with me. These mates include Jared and Glenn from 4 Exploring Rentals, and my mate Joel has flown all the way from Colorado. I've promised them that it'll be more remote than anywhere they've ever been. It'll be hotter and it will be more dangerous, but it will be worthwhile. Well,
Out here, Joel. Don't go over that edge.
that's what I hope anyway.
Looking at the exhibit.
Yeah.
An old-fashioned grader.
So if you have a look here, Dad.
Yeah.
So this has the old railway line.
Yeah.
It's not visible on any of the maps and it's not a discernible feature, so we have to compare that to here. Looking here on this big map, and same here, you see the size of the Shore River. But remember, that's the one we got stuck behind for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And middle of the wet season, should be peak wet season. As we know, we haven't seen much rain yet, but ex-tropical cyclone Lincoln should be popping out onto the North Pilbara coast, South Kimberley coast, where it's believed it'll reform and it'll hit the Pilbara coast. So depending how much momentum it has by the time it gets back in, all these might fill up, and then I don't know how we're getting back. So either
It's going to rain.
probably rain, in which case we'll have the rivers to contend with. If it doesn't rain, we're just probably going to die of heat stroke.
It does this, yeah.
So we'll head down here. Happy with that?
Yes, exactly.
Let's do
go.
it.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Why would we do this? Driving further into the tropical wet season, where the days are hard and the nights are spent just floating in your own sweat, wishing you could sleep. Well, the answer is simple. It's the most beautiful time of year when the rivers are flowing and the gorges are full. Even better is that all the tourists, they've flaked out, they've given up, they've fled back to their identical housing estates with their identical little houses. They've gone back to their identical tilt slab air-conditioned shopping centres that have either a Coles or a Woolworths that specialise solely in selling shit you don't need, so you can get through the Mother's Days, Father's Days, Halloweens, and all the other crap that marketing teams tell you need to be a part of. Now, I know this all sounds unreasonably harsh, but I say it in the full knowledge that I might be the idiot. Right, chances are that many people haven't all got it wrong, and I'm just some bitter old fool from the bush that thinks his way is the right way of doing things.
So, how do we find out? Well, we put it to the test. This is how we find out.
We don't use sealed roads unless it's absolutely necessary, so we're finding a new way to Marble Bar. We're trying to follow a railway line that was used in World War II to take armaments out to Corunna Downs, a secret airbase that was used to defend against the Japanese. The railway line has mostly been lost to history, and it's difficult to put the pieces together. I grew up out here, and it's something that stays in your blood. It's a place I'll never be able to get away from, nor would I ever want to.
She might not overly be a goer here, boys. Funny, I just had the same thought. Looks like you got something bursting out of the back of your left wheel too. You got a water tank there? Joel, did you close the water tank? Have you got a low with your dust locker?
I'll just put the locker on.
You should be alright with the locker on.
Yeah, as long as that doesn't lock the front, I don't want to do a CV out here. Power mode, whatever that does. Oh shit! This is fucking hairy as sh. Looks like we're gonna need to find another way around.
Take care where you're gonna have a crack.
This is a violation of the rental terms and conditions, boys. They've got it. They've got it.
Yeah, well done, boys. Oh, dear, boys, you missed it out. Yeah, this way, look like you've got right over. Just needs.
A lot has changed in the 20 years since I lived in Marble Bar. There's more roads, and some of the older ones have been bitumised. It pushes these places closer and closer to civilization. Places where civilization has no right to be. So this time, we're going further, all the way past Punmu and into the great sandy desert.
You're back.
Yes, made it back. As you know now, we had trouble bloody blowing tyres with the heat. It got ground temperature got up to 58 degrees, so that's pretty damn hot. Not a good sign, because we're actually going to go further than where we've been before, and it's unknown. During the night, I left the boys in the bush, headed back to Headland to where my road wheels were, picked them up and drove back. The problem with the road wheels is they only got road tread and they're a bit smaller, so I'm going to be lower to the ground. But, you know, like everything's a bit of a compromise because it could have stayed in Headland and got some new ones, but it could be a day or two at a tyre shop. We've got the cyclone coming in. We haven't got a day or two to waste.
Don't take 5 minutes in the sun. See if you can press that in, Toad, without burning yourself. Yeah. Ah, you fucking...
At this rate, Andy, you might need to bring 10 wheels out.
I thought you were going to say 10 cartons.
When we lived here, people would come in from the community in Punmu and Cotton Creek and stuff, and I go, oh, I wonder where they are. And no tourists go out there. So we've already had a little bit of adventure, a little bit of stress, a little bit of drama, find out what the appeal is out there where no one else wants to go. So
Yeah. Last thing, the boys said that you owe them quite a few cans of beer.
Bullshit, because I've only been bogged once and got pulled out once. The rest of they're making it up. Bloody Kiwis, eh? They just make up stories so they can get free beer.
Was that a reserve, you think?
Yeah, that was the metal there would have been the tank on that base. And then when it's become old and shitty, the water's leaked out, so it doesn't have enough weight to stay in place. So where we left this morning with the railway line, and there was that old crane, which they would do a section of line, run this little crane along it, got used for them to bring in munitions to take to Corunda Downs Air Base, and then that's what they were using to fight the Japanese if need be.
But in the early days, like the 1900s when they first built it, it was a steam train, so they had to have water points along the way. Yeah. When we did Desert Blood, this is one of the ones we found. And we found another one, but there was another one that's missing that hopefully we'll find on this trip.
Yeah, unfinished business. Most people forget that WA got bombed.
Yeah.
And then
In a few places.
In Darwin, I think more bombs fell there than in Pearl Harbor.
Yeah. Don't tell the Yanks that, though.
They're not making movies about that.
No. Yes. So with a bit of luck, we'll find the next one. Yeah.
Let's find it.
Let's find it.
A lot of the time, you don't know exactly where you're headed out here. Micromanagement, schedules, Google Maps, none of that shit works in the desert. You've just got to search for adventure, hoping that you've got the resourcefulness to fix whatever goes wrong. You've got to put yourself out there, seeking what's important, even though it's often out of reach. You push yourself, take risks, and go further into the unknown.
Yeah, I'm just going to be super careful because with these road tyres and the low pressure.
It might feel unsafe. It might even kill you. But if it doesn't, you just might find yourself in the middle of something that makes you feel alive.
Sorry, fellas, I think it's a dead end. Hold on a second.
Oh! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119,
Punmu is one of the most remote communities in all of Australia. You can pat yourself on the back if you've even just heard of it. $666.66 worth of fuel for 2 cars tells you just how remote this is, and it seems like a bit of an omen. Mind you, it wouldn't be hard to believe that the gates of hell have been left open, as the lady here tells us that it has reached 53 degrees every day for the last 14 days. We're now as far as we've ever been, and we're pretty happy about that.
Well, boys, soon as we got fuel again, might as well have a little bit of fun.
Out there, Joel. This way, mate. Up there.
So that is the mine road, isn't it? This is
Yeah, that's where, yeah,
mine, yeah.
We've come from here.
off the map.
Yeah, that mine road was about here. So we need to get down to here. Now, this was the original plan. See, I've marked these couple of spots. This Chinkalachara Pool, Curran Rock Hole, which is this little track, and you can see it looks far less substantial than this one we came in on last night, to get there and then to get back up to Skull Springs Road. As you know, this is much slower going. We're chewing fuel, getting stuck in riverbeds.
Well, I'm less than half a tank.
Yeah,
so.
got water problems as well, or we will do soon.
Yeah.
So if you were going to run out of fuel, Skull Springs Road would be a huge pain. It'd be a problem, but it wouldn't be fatal. Talawana track is about the same. This shit in here, you know, this is, you hear on the radio about some tourists who went out in wet season and, you know, ran out of fuel and water and they found the body months later. That's these areas.
Yeah.
If you look at the topographical features from these dunes, this is a little track sort of crossing this dense part of dunes where the average height of the dune is 12 to 15 metres here, whereas this drives in between ridge lines of smaller sand dunes, and it's known as an easier track.
Yeah.
So I think this is our new plan.
Yeah.
If anybody has no objections.
Is there
Yeah.
any watering holes through there?
On the way to there, yeah.
There's a few more from where we leave. Coincidentally, check out this. We've gone through the Little Sandy Desert into the Great Sandy Desert, way up the top here, Lake Dora. You can't even see Punmu on the map.
True.
So right around Lake Dora, back through the Great Sandy Desert, to Rudall River National Park, and then we're going back into the bottom of the Little Sandy Desert.
We've essentially cut across the guts of the Great Sandy.
Yeah.
The maps and come up with a new plan, because last night we kept pushing on. It was 52 degrees, I think, when we left Punmu. And the tracks change a bit every wet season, and we were averaging just a few kilometres an hour. We were getting stuck in riverbeds, all sorts, just chewing through fuel, chugging down water because it was still 47 degrees at midnight.
Full of that edge on your left.
Don't go over that edge. This way. That.
I don't think Mack trucks are going to help here. I don't think I've got the experience. We'll come and do some digging and help.
You can get it back a little bit further, eh? Yeah.
So we're just expecting more of that, just snotty rocks, more river crossings. The route we were planning to go, we can't do. Part of the map looks like we're going to be driving down a river crossing for a bit, which cost us a few hours last night. As the boys were saying, might have worked out better that way because 52-degree heat, if you're on the hot caught sand, literally burning, it's a real problem. So that might have worked out for the better.
Oh, keep going, keep it going. Yeah, just no one's standing in the way. No. Right. Well, can you take off free spool?
We just have to find our way to the biggest track possible so that we get the best fuel economy, and that if we do run out of fuel, we're on a more major track and one of the other cars can go faster up ahead to get some fuel and bring it back. Protein, it's still in my right tonsil, I can feel it. It's dying right now, putting up a fight. It's very hard right now, it's very hot. It's 10 in the morning and mid to high 40s. We're very low on water, so we've got to push through and find some tracks to get us to Nullagine where we can get some water and some fuel. But what do? Do you stay home, live in your aircon? Fuck that.
After all that, you might think, what was the point? I wonder the same thing. We were supposed to find the wet season and maybe even a cyclone. I was supposed to show my friends what the Pilbara is like when the rivers are full. Instead, we found drought. Some people say you should set achievable goals so that when you do reach them, you get the satisfaction that helps you continue on your journey.
See here, on the south side of Pilbara, that's where we had that storm yesterday behind us, which fills here. So this really should have been our saving grace for water, and it's not. And now less than half a tank, and going through it quite a hefty amount per kilometre. So I think going this way is just.
Oh, we can't go any further.
Who's going to appear here within the next few days if we fuck it up?
Norman Peale said the opposite, that you should aim for the stars so that even if you miss, you still reach the moon.
It's apparently
we set out to make a film of the perilous wet season, but it didn't work out. All we got was a week where we got to have some of the country's most spectacular scenery all to ourselves. A week with friends, sharing and creating new stories. A week where we challenged ourselves in a way that was totally different to what we expected. We didn't get the drone shot of the raging rivers or close-ups of water over the bonnet, the shots that I promised my wife would be worth us spending all this money on. So what? We had a crack. And after all, that's what the Aussie spirit's about. It's not having a go if you know how it's going to pan out. And we still got a film out of it. It just wasn't the one we expected. You know what it all comes down to? Have you ever had that first cold beer on a Friday afternoon after working all day in the heat, where the struggle made it all the more worthwhile? Just imagine that after a week in the desert during a 100-year heat wave. Bloody well worth it. Cheers.